The biggest black swan crypto event of all time is just around the corner. $3 billion worth of BTC are going to be dumped onto the market. You're going to be left bag holding and sent back to the crypto stone ages. That is if you listen to people on Twitter, which we don't, thankfully. However, a very significant event for 2022 is just about to take place, which is the repayment of 137,000 Bitcoins to users of the MTGOX exchange. As we know, 2014, 750,000 Bitcoin was stolen from what was once the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, handling up to 70% of transactions on a daily basis. Kobayashi was appointed the creditor in 2015, and as of November last year, it's been locked in that investors are now going to start being paid back the $3 billion worth of Bitcoin that was stolen from the exchange. Will that cause a temporary market dump and the opportunity for us to pick up $12,000, $14,000, $15,000 BTC? Or could it signal the end for Bitcoin as we know it? Thankfully, Miles Deutsche on Twitter has written a brilliant thread giving us an outline of what we can expect, when we can expect it, and how can we can prepare for potential market chaos. If you want to know how I'm going to be playing this and how you can too, stick around as I dive right in. What is up, guys? Tex here. Yeah, as I said, it's a pretty significant event. You know, we've been waiting almost a decade now to find out what is happening with this MTGOX exchange repayment to the users of what, as I said, what was once the world's largest Bitcoin transaction exchange. You know, you think about it now. If it were Binance, for example, going insolvent, going into bankruptcy, their website disappearing, all of their Twitter content disappearing, and people having no idea what's going on with the money that they had on the exchange, that's what happened back in 2014 when MTGOX got hacked. So a really interesting story. If you want to know more about it, you can go to buybitcoinworld.com, which explains really in depth what was MTGOX and what was the hack about. But as I said, Miles Deutsche has gone down and explained this pretty bloody well. I'm not going to go through all of this, but it gives you a brief back history about when Jeb McCaleb started it back in 2006 or 2010 rather. Sold it to French entrepreneur Marc Capelles. From there, Marc Capelles doubled the revenue of MTGOX at the time. And then it had its first alleged hack in 2011 when MTGOX explained that 25,000 Bitcoin were robbed via a compromised computer, which was $400,000 at the time. Today, those Bitcoin would be worth $520 million. So what happened was this original hack was started because the attacker used an artificial trading activity to cause the price to temporarily plummet after the initial hack from $17 to 1 cent, scooping up an additional 2,000 Bitcoin in the process using stolen customer wallets. This is when it started to all kind of go downhill for MTGOX post this. So in the years following, MTGOX had a series of controversies, which was an accidental transaction log fork in March 2013, causing a 23% market crash, suspended trading in April, causing another 50% crash, a $75 million lawsuit in May, and then they suspended withdrawals on June 20. But despite all the issues that MTGOX had in its initial phases, the exchange volume continued to explode. It was by far the biggest crypto exchange, handling 70% of all BTC trades. Now, MTGOX was really created as the world's first easy way for everyday people like you and I to transact or to buy and sell Bitcoin. So it was a big deal at the time and was handling, as it says here, 70% of all Bitcoin trades, which is a huge volume at the time. Could you imagine that now? Huge. In December 2013, all appeared to be golden at MTGOX. Revenue was at an all-time high, and Bitcoin had recently breached $1,000 for the first time. But then the unthinkable happened, and on February 2014, customer complaints were mounting as people were experiencing huge delays with withdrawing their BTC. And then on the 7th, MTGOX officially suspended withdrawals, citing they needed a clear technical view of the currency process. That was all just lip service. They were struggling bad, hence the reason why people couldn't withdraw funds from the exchange, because it was all compromised. Then on the 10th, they admitted to finding a bug in the Bitcoin software, leading to an altered transaction detail. This effectively meant that BTC could be resent as transactions were labeled as invalid. So this type of exploit is due to an issue called transaction malleability. So for the next 2 weeks, angry customers were left in the dark, unable to withdraw their Bitcoin. And then on the 17th, the narrative was stated that MTGOX MTGOX should be able to resume withdrawals soon and that they were committed to solving this issue. Typical bullshit talk to say that we're screwed and you're not getting your money back. However, 3 days later, the CEO resigned from the board of the BTC Foundation, shortly followed by MTGOX removing all of their Twitter posts. Could you imagine this happening today? It would be chaos. Subsequently, their website went offline. And on February 24, a crisis management document was leaked revealing that MTGOX was insolvent after losing an estimated 850,000 BTC. So today, that's worth $18 billion and 4% of the total BTC supply. Massive losses for MTGOX, massive losses for people using the exchange. Could you imagine having 10,000 BTC when it was valued at $1, 10 grand worth of Bitcoin on exchange in 2014? Coming into today's values would be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and that's money that you had lost on that exchange that you could never get back again. That would be devastating. Mentally living with that would be devastating, almost as bad as my $2,000 ship buy that I could have turned into $1 billion. So they finally admitted to losing $750,000 of their customers' Bitcoins, including 100,000 of their own. So remember the 2011 hack that he mentioned a moment ago? Well, it turned out that the MTGOX private keys were unencrypted and stolen back in 2011. So we don't know how the hackers obtained this key. There's speculation that it was an inside job. So here's where things get really, really interesting for MTGOX as well. They released a statement on their website on the 20th of March 2014 stating that they had found 20,000 missing Bitcoins. Poof! 20,000 BTC were found and amassed in mid-air. So in 2015, Nobuaki Kobayashi was appointed as the rehabilitation trustee by the Tokyo District Court. We know that Kobayashi is a bit of a savage, and his role was to oversee the reconciliation of creditors. Meanwhile, CEO Mark Capellis was arrested for fraud and embezzlement in August 2015. Inside job, anyone? It was found that he manipulated MTGOX computers to display incorrect balances and stealing $2.6 million worth of user funds for personal use. Cop that. Enjoy your 30 months in prison. So for many years, the MTGOX situation stagnated as a result of lengthy legal proceedings and investigations. And this is almost 8 years now. We've been waiting for a result on this BTC exchange hack. So many people left in the dark. Lives ruined. It was a horrible, horrible time for the market and for people. My heart goes out to those guys because this would suck. But in November 2021, MTGOX and the Tokyo District Court formalized an official rehabilitation plan. So this plan outlines the intent to repay a creditor. So you can see here, this was the notice of confirmation order of the rehabilitation plan becoming final and binding. November 16, 2021, it became final and binding. So this brings us to the present day. And what does this mean now for the market? Because if there's 137,000 Bitcoin that are going to be dumped onto the market, it could create chaos. But there is a caveat to this. So on July 6, creditors received an email regarding payments. MTGOX stated that the rehabilitation trustee is preparing to make repayments. Those repayments are stated to take place in August 2022. So the rehabilitation trustee is responsible for issuing payments to the creditors, in this case Kobayashi, who is overseeing the rehab process. As per the balance sheet, they currently hold 137,000 Bitcoin that's valued at $3 billion at current prices. So this is where it gets interesting for people who want to be repaid. So creditors have the option of receiving USD, BTC, or BCH. It's estimated that the creditors will start receiving funds as early as August. So many people are panicking that release of funds will lead to a huge supply dump, which could significantly impact the BTC price. So we've got to think about it in a few ways here. People are going to be paid back in either BTC, BCH, or USD. Those receiving BTC, the thought process is that they will dump their BTC for USD, take their money off the exchanges and cut their losses and run. But I think when you look at it from a psychological perspective, if people were exposed to Bitcoin back in the day, they've seen the run up to current day's prices, are they inclined to sell the BTC that they're going to get back for, let's not say free, but the BTC that they had been owed many years ago, they're going to be paid back. Are they going to dump it, or are they going to continue to hold it because they've seen the life cycle of BTC to this point and they'll continue to hold? Or will they just get their money back? That's where we need to understand how things will work. But in my personal opinion, I think most people that are paid in BTC will hold their BTC to account their losses over the years. Hey, if you haven't already too, make sure you hit like on this video, hit that subscribe button, or go to unitytradinggroup.com, come into our Discord. There's loads of educational guides over there. If you aren't trading right now, you should be studying. So there's also the thought that some people saying that this could lead to the BTC Ethereum flippening. So the Ethereum merge is perfectly timed with the MTGOX users dumping their money in late August 2022. So the flippening is upon us, friends. I don't believe that. So coming on through, so also the prospect of, although the prospect of a $3 billion dump sounds scary, we must keep a few factors in mind. This is what I mentioned just a moment ago. Firstly, not all creditors will sell their BTC. Some will continue holding. They have already seen multiple cycles, and lower BTC prices makes selling a less attractive proposition. Many of the creditors who desperately wanted to sell would have likely been brought out by bigger funds or adjusted their crypto exposure accordingly. The biggest argument for creditors not selling is psychological. They were forced to hold an asset for many years and have seen massive returns. BTC is so much more proven as an asset now than it was back at the time of purchase, 2011, 12, 13, 14. It's unlikely the majority choose to sell. Let's say that again. It's unlikely that the majority of people choose to sell. But purely for argument's sake, let's say that all $3 billion hits the market. What would this cause a BTC market crash? Probably. In the short term, it definitely would. That's a lot of money and a lot of Bitcoin being put onto the market. Remember, LFG dumped 80,000. This is the Luna Foundation. Dumped 80,000 BTC. 3 Arrows Capital were forced to sell, spot sell billions worth of assets, and miners have been continuously dumping huge amounts. These events account for billions of dollars worth of BTC hitting the market. The result, a huge price hit. But the price impact of the LFG and 3AC wasn't just the selling, it was the sentiment hit plus the forced liquidations that were triggered. The worst is behind us. I would agree with Miles on this. We saw so much chaos from the 3 Arrows Capital, bankruptcy, the Luna Foundation, dumped all of their BTC onto the market, and we saw prices take a short-term hit, let's say, to the point where we are at now at this $20,000 Bitcoin place, where we seem to have found a little bit of stasis for the short term. Dips to the downside, I think, are inevitable. However, the market always tends to recover even after significant events like this, and I think we'll see the same thing again here with this event. So, as money starts to be put back onto the market, I'll certainly will be cautious with my trades and how things are with respect to my positions at the time, in case things get psychological. We know how fast things can spread on Twitter and online for people to be dumping their money very, very quickly at the rumor or a tweet from Elon Musk, can manipulate the whole market. So hold tight. Let's keep reviewing this story as it occurs. Let's see what Kobayashi does, how these people are receiving their money in either USD, BTC, or BCH, and see what the selling volume equates to once that starts hitting the market. Interesting times. If you were hit by the MTGOX exchange hack, I'd love to hear your thoughts below. How have you recovered from this? What happened at the time of you purchasing, and what are your thoughts on the market at the moment, and what are your thoughts on this event playing out? We'd love to hear your thoughts below. For everything that we do, unitytradinggroup.com. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's good to be back talking to you after a little bit of a break. Thank you for sticking around, and I'll see you next time. Take care.